Welcome to the Kickstart Your Coaching Edge podcast, where it's all about getting real around all things coaching.
And what we know for sure is that what got you here won't get you there.
You can't see the spinach in your own teeth.
And finally, hang on, because this one's really deep. Once you realize that you are the traffic, everything makes complete and unadulterated sense.
Hi, Karen.
What's up, Jen?
All right, so we are continuing on the self-actualization train. Choo-choo.
Now all of a sudden I'm thinking, I want like good and plenty. I don't even like licorice.
How does that song go?
What, Choo Choo Charlie? Come on,
Yeah.
Choo Choo Charlie was an engineer.
Sing it.
I can't remember the next line, but all I can see is now that old TV commercial with the shaking of the good and plenty box. Good and plenty. Choo Choo Charlie. Let's go.
All right, fantastic. So as we talk a little bit about self-actualization, the meaning of fulfillment and the pursuit of happiness, so to speak, is that goals are often attributed to that, right? Because we can see how they can help us or change us, and whether we do goals from a long-term perspective or a daily perspective. It's interesting because one of the things that Karen and I know for sure is that when it is time that you have, you're going to pursue something, right? Whether you call it a goal or not, you have to decide that you're committed to it. And the reason why we say that is because if you're sort of like, maybe I want to do this, perhaps I'll give it a whirl, it's super easy midstream to check out, to say, it's hard, I don't want to do it, to change your mind, to then say to yourself as a rationalization, it's no longer important to me. So part of this is when you make a decision, I am going to do this, in theory, you can reduce the drama that happens in your mind about, are you going to do it today? Are you going to start at noon? When are you going to, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it. But it's about holding true to that decision, even when it gets hard or obstacles come up.
You know, it's funny, Jen, that makes me think about what you talked about. I don't remember if it was last week or the week before, but with the ab dolly, right? So you're doing things for 7 days. And it's almost what this makes me think of, to have people, right, come up with, instead of, I don't know, and I'm going to say, I'm not a crazy great person with the word goal, but here's the thing. I love challenges, right? So if we could switch kind of goals to challenges, I would sign up every day because I love a challenge and I love to challenge myself. So if you think about your 7-day ab dolly thing, if we could get people to say, okay, great, what's my 7-day challenge, right? Here's my 7-day challenge. My 7-day challenge is, for you, right, in this case, to do 100 of those ab dolly things. And you do it for 7 days. You'd stand on your effing head for 7 days, right? And the thing is, how do you get connected to that 7-day challenge? And then the next week, you come up with a new 7-day challenge, right? Something could be ab dollies this week. Something could be, I don't know if you're a writer, you write X amount of time the next week. But if you can do things for 7 days and then say, hey, what do I want to tweak? What did I learn? What did I learn about myself? What did I learn about life? What is it is this important or is this not important? Then that's how I think that you're going to be able to move forward. But if I could position things as 7-day challenges, I'd sign up all day long. Well, all 7 days long.
It's funny. What you just made me think of is our streaker challenge. That was a few years back, right? So yeah. we did a thing where we said we were going to run at least 1 mile a day for 40 days, I think it was. I don't even know what it was.
I think so.
And it was never, I have a goal to run 40 miles over the next 40 days. It was, I'm in a challenge to see if I can keep the streak going. 2 totally different energies that come with that, right? So one is 40 miles in 40 days, which even sounds horrific, even though it's a mile a day. But I'm curious to see if I can keep it going, has more interest, intrigue, engagement, right? So it's so interesting, but you have to figure out what works for you. I know for me, when I make the decision, then that becomes a non negotiable for sure, right? So whether it's long term, short term, doesn't really matter. But then what it means is I need to figure out strategies when there's obstacles that come up, when things get uncomfortable, and when things get hard, right? So, for example, I might be that I have to look at my schedule and say, okay, so I won't be able to do it at my standard time. When am I going to fit it in? It might require additional planning. The three things that Karen and I always like to talk about when there are obstacles is it a mindset challenge, a resource challenge, or a skill set challenge? Right. So we talked about that in the last episode about the skill set, saying no to desserts, right? But often is, when my goals and I've decided that I am committed to what I am doing, that means it does require me to take a look at tomorrow before tomorrow comes to say when am I going to do the things that I committed to doing. That's a resource challenge, right? Do I have the time, the energy, the setup? If it's a mindset, I don't feel like doing it, well, then I have to, take a look at my own thoughts and say, what am I going to change? Because I've decided I'm going to do this. How do I get in the right headspace to do it?
Don, I think that what's really important about what you're saying is people say that they make decisions all day long. And then there's no follow through and there's no action. And I think that people are like, oh, well, I decided to do X, Y, and Z, and that there's nothing. So then there really isn't a decision. So what you're really talking about right here is the decision, right? So if you're going to commit to a decision, then there needs to be action, right? So it all has to go together, because a decision without action is just some BS that's flowing out there, right? It's not doing anything. So you could say all you want to say, but if there's no action that's being backed up, there's nothing's going to happen. I feel like we should do some kind of, I don't know, we could do a fun thing about action, decision, and commitment or something at some point, because they all are so connected.
Oh, you can't do any of it without the other, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like if I make the decision, I am not going to eat cheese for the next month. I don't know, just I'm making something random up. That was it, right? So I make that decision, then the commitment I have is to not waffle on that decision. Not to be like, oh, but I really want cheese, or oh, we happen to be driving by a fondue place, or oh, they're having a sale, so I'll just get some cheese. I have no idea why I picked cheese as a thing, but we're rolling with it, right? Oh, there's a new Faux Cheesy, which is an amazing grilled cheese restaurant by our house in Florida. None of that, right? If we are going to make a commitment to the decision, I decided I'm not eating cheese. My commitment is, then I stick with that. The actions are, I say no to Faux Cheesy. I, focus on other things. I celebrate my cheese wins, however it is that you want to look at it. But it is really, those three things are super important. It's when we half-ass any of those three that our goals, the person we're trying to become, may possibly not happen. You have to make a decision. You have to commit to that decision, and you have to take the action that's required to have that decision come forth, which means when the obstacles are there, you can't say, well, I ran out of time, or, oh, they just delivered cheese to my house, so I had to eat it. You have to look at the mindset, the resource, or the skill set that is going to have you stay committed to the decision that you made. So on that note, Karen, I think that's all we got. Short but sweet.
Sounds good to me.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Kickstart Your Coaching Edge podcast. Craving more in-depth discussions? Check out the Get Real Inner Circle with our no BS in-crowd of coaches.
Join live coaching discussions, breakdowns of coaching calls, and have some fun while you're at it.
You're going to want to go to kickstartyouredge.com/inner circle. It's time to get real.